Yo, what is up, everyone? It is Monday, which means if you're watching this, you have survived another weekend. Congrats. So my gift to all of you for still breathing on this floating rock in the middle of space is another edition of the Weekend and Rewind. So let's get right to it. Bad weekend, me. And we're gonna start here with me being bad because I should have known better than to predict that this version of Manchester United under Jose Mourinho would win the FA Cup and that Alexis Sanchez would be the hero by scoring the game winner, because both were shite. It didn't look like the team had a plan, and too many individuals were doing individual-like things, which ultimately led to them losing 1-0, which I thought was the fair result. Also, where does United go from here? Because if I was a player, which I'm not anymore, sad days, but if I was, I wouldn't want to play for that team next season because it just felt like there was a negative energy always swirling around them. And maybe that's an extension of their manager since he seems to invite negativity at all times, but it's just, I don't know. That said, of course, if I was playing for Manchester United, I would want to stay and play for them because, I mean, whether you like it or not, they are one of the biggest clubs in the world. But still, I hope you guys get what I'm saying, i.e., I would just want to enjoy myself while playing. And those guys that I watched for United this season didn't always look like they were enjoying themselves. But I digress. Good weekend, bad weekend. Chelsea owner Roman Abramovich. The good? With his club's 1-0 win over United, he got the best of his former manager Jose Mourinho, which must feel pretty good to shut up a man who never shuts up and who lately seems to have an excuse for everything but blaming himself. So in summation, Abramovich's club ended the season on a high note. The bad? With this win, manager Antonio Conte has won 2 significant trophies for the Blues because, yes, I rate the FA Cup and any League Cup competitions around the world as significant trophies. And if I ever coach, every competition I enter into is one that I'll be trying to win and one that myself and all of my players will show our full respect to, and you can quote me on this. Anyway, back to Abramovich. If you're him, do you retain Conte for another season? I mean, I believe this win makes him have to think about it. And I should mention that this was also a bad weekend because the UK did not renew Abramovich's visa to stay in the country, so he has to go back to Russia until it's sorted out, which proves that the UK doesn't give a crap if you just won their oldest trophy. Sad weekend. Andres Iniesta and Gigi Buffon. These two legends of their respective clubs, Barcelona and Juventus, both played their final games in the colors that we will all identify them with, which was bittersweet for me because A, I'm not ready for them to stop playing with the clubs that they're currently playing on. I know that they can still contribute if they want, but B, I feel lucky to have been a witness to their great careers from the beginning to the very end, which included me playing against Buffon in the World Cup, which was obviously a career highlight for him, no doubt, 100% stamp that. However, both players have stated that they're not retiring, so please, MLS clubs, I don't care how old these guys are, please bring them over for a season so I can meet them both in person. And yes, I'm being selfish and I don't care, I love these two. Also for me, Buffon is a certified GOAT in goal, but where does Iniesta fit in for the best midfielders of all time? I mean, top 5 for sure, right? That is, until you start listing out the names. Maradona, Zidane, Cruyff, Xavi, Ronaldinho, whoever you like the best out of Scholes, Lampard, Gerrard maybe, Lothar Matthäus. And do you consider Messi and Ronaldo midfielders? I don't, but maybe you do. And anyway, this is probably a video for another day. Also times 2, I want to mention Fernando Torres, who might not warrant the same GOAT status as the other two, but he's won pretty much every trophy imaginable, and in his last game for his boyhood club Atletico Madrid this weekend, he scored a brace, which must have felt pretty incredible. So congrats to him on a career that he should be very, very proud of, especially the parts where he fought through some really down times and adversity with hard work and determination, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for him for that. Good weekend, Parma. 3 years after declaring bankruptcy, which earned them a demotion to Serie D, they became the first team in Italian history to win 3 successive promotions, which means they will be competing in Serie A next season, which is an incredible feat. Also, fun fact for you, Alessandro Lucarelli was their captain in 2015 when they got demoted, but he stayed with the club, and now that this dream has happened, he says at the age of 41, he can proudly retire, which is such a cool way for someone to end their career. What a story. Bad weekend, Motherwell, who gave up 2 goals in the first 25 minutes of the Scottish Cup final to Celtic, and everyone knew that was that. It was done, it was finished, because I hate to be the one telling you this, but Celtic are using cheat codes in Scotland and no one else is. They are way too good. but hopefully Steven Gerrard will bring some renewed hope to Rangers next season so that Celtic are properly challenged moving forward. Good weekend, bad weekend, Steven de Vrij. And we're going to start with the bad first because one of Lazio's top players, this man right here, gave up a penalty with 12 minutes left to go that reignited Inter Milan's belief that they could beat Lazio in Rome and qualify for the Champions League, which Inter ended up doing. They scored the game winner minutes later on a set piece to win 3-2, which completely changes the near future for both of these clubs. The good? De Vrij had already announced that he was leaving Lazio to go to Inter, so guess who's getting to play in the Champions League next season? Steven de Vrij! So that was a well-timed penalty to give up. Way to go. Your new club has to be thrilled. Good weekend, Sede Aves. After a jarring week ahead of the Taça de Portugal final between Aves and Sporting Clube de Portugal, where some Sporting Ultras attacked Sporting players at their training facility, which is just and most notably leading goal scorer Bas Dost, who had to go to the hospital. The game was finally played this weekend, and Aves, who, with their great team shape, clean passing, and potent counterattack, were the deserved 2-1 winners over the crisis-riddled team known as Sporting, who are having an absolute shocker in all areas, which helped Aves win their first ever Taça de Portugal trophy, so a big congratulations to them. Bad weekend. Utrecht. Fellas, you had one job. Make the 2 away goals you scored in your 3-2 first leg loss to Vitesse matter, and instead you missed some good looks at goal at home and then gave up 2 early goals as well, including a header to American center back Matt Miazga, and it's never a good look when us Americans are making you look bad at the beautiful game, which led to you losing out on qualifying for the Europa League, so it sucks to be you, but it's awesome if you're Vitesse, so congrats to them. Good weekend, bad weekend, Bayern Munich. The good? The new manager you just hired, Niko Kovac from Eintracht Frankfurt, to replace your current one, Jupp Heynckes, just won the DFB Pokal final, which was not only impressive because it was the first League Cup trophy for Frankfurt in 30 years, but also because they lost in the final last season to Borussia Dortmund, so that shows the type of resiliency that Kovac has instilled in his players, which, as we know, is a necessary trait to be successful at anything. The bad? Frankfurt beat you, Super Bayern, in the final, which denied your club from winning the double, even if there was maybe a controversial VAR call or two that didn't go your way. So, are you sure you still want to hire him? Like, really sure? I mean, he ruined a great ending for Jupp Heynckes' career. Good weekend, Patrick Cutrone. In his first full season for AC Milan, the 20-year-old scored 10 league goals, including embracing Milan's huge 5-1 win over Fiorentina this weekend, which helped his club automatically qualify for the Europa League. Also, he's only the second player to score 10 goals in one of Europe's top 5 leagues after being born on January 1st, 1998. The first? Do you know? I'll give you a second to figure it out. It's Kylian Mbappe. Good weekend, bad weekend, Cristiano Ronaldo. The good? The man is healthy ahead of the Champions League final and proved it with a goal this weekend against Villarreal, which was his 450th for the club, his 10th straight goal in a La Liga game, and helped him notch his 8th straight season with 50 goals or more for club and country, which proves just how next level this dude consistently is. The bad? In true Real Madrid fashion this season, and I want to emphasize this season so I don't hurt the feelings of any sensitive Madrid supporters, they gave up their 2-goal lead to the Yellow Submarine to draw 2-2, which probably isn't the best way to build some momentum heading into the biggest game in Europe this upcoming weekend. The bad times too? CR7's main rival for the Ballon d'Or, Leo Messi, won his 5th Pichichi as the leading scorer of La Liga. Now in comparison, Ronaldo has won 3 Pichichis. And I love saying Pichichi, by the way. And Messi won his 5th Golden Shoe as a top scorer in all of Europe. Mohamed Salah was 2nd, Harry Kane was 3rd, and Ronaldo was 8th. Though it must be said, Ronaldo has won 4 of these Golden Shoes himself, and he was injured for a good portion of this season, so he might have been competing for it. Anyway, CR7 might say these awards going to Messi doesn't bother him and that he doesn't care, but we all know that it does. You don't yell, "See!" at an awards show if this kind of stuff doesn't matter to you. Good weekend, Mario Balotelli. For the first time since 2014, Super Mario has been called back into the Italian national team for their upcoming friendlies, and that pumps me up. I hope he does well. Bad weekend, Marseille. After probably hearing at halftime that Lyon were down 1-0 to Nice, you went out and finished off Amiens to get the 3 points that you needed to leapfrog Lyon and get into the Champions League. But Memphis Depay, who has easily played his best season as a professional, scored a hat-trick in the second half to help Lyon hold on to their Champions League spot with a huge 3-2 win. So in summation, it sucks to be you, Marseille. Though if we're looking at this critically, you kind of blew it last week when you gave up a late goal to draw when Lyon lost, so don't get mad at me for calling you out. I'm just stating the facts. Good weekend, Bafétimbi Gomez. Now I can't remember the last time I brought up this man's name, but this week, and actually the whole season, he has earned it. He scored the game winner to help Galatasaray win their first league title since 2015, and he finished the season as the top scorer in the Turkish Super League with 29 goals, which I believe is even more impressive since he's 32 years old. So a shout out to the old guys. Bad weekend, Atlanta United. The team that MLS seems to love the most, given the amount of TV time and website coverage and weekly awards that go to this second-year club and their players, which in fairness, they have done an incredible job in building something special in a very short period of time. Well, they got beat at home 3-1 by the highest scoring team in the league, the New York Red Bulls, behind a brace from Bradley Wright Phillips, who is now tied for the league lead in goals with José Zardes from the Columbus Crew and Joseph Martinez from Atlanta United. Also, a positive shout out needs to go to the Portland Timbers, who won their 5th straight league game with their 2-1 win over LAFC, and NYCFC, who demolished the Colorado Rapids at home in the rain 4-0 to move within 1 point of Atlanta as the best team in the whole entire league, and the Philadelphia Union, who scored 4 goals in 1 game, which for me seems like a minor miracle in their 4-1 win over Salt Lake. And then Toronto, who found a way to beat Orlando even though it wasn't very pretty. And DC United, who flew all the way across the country as the worst team in the league to beat my former club, the San Jose Earthquakes, 3-1. Which is pretty disappointing if you're a San Jose fan. And the Houston Dynamo, who came from a goal down on the road to beat the Chicago Fire 3-2, and I heard that Bastian Schweinsteiger is not very happy about that, nor should he be. And the Columbus Crew for beating the Revs 1-0 on the road. And you know what? Everyone that played well, you guys all deserve some positive shout-outs. So well done. Good weekend, Santos Laguna. With their 1-1 draw on the road in Leg 2 of the Liga MX final against Toluca, they won 3-2 over both legs to capture their 6th ever Liga MX title, and they did it by taking the hardest road possible. They beat the defending champions Tigres in the first round of the playoffs, or as I like to call it, the quarterfinals. Then they beat the most successful club in Mexican history, Club America, in the semifinals. And then they beat the best team in the league this season, Toluca, in the final, so it was very well deserved. Also, a huge, grande shout out to their goalkeeper, Jonathan Orozco, who stood on his head making big save after big save, specifically in this game because he was so good and maybe my MVP of the playoffs. Bad weekend, the other Santos FC in Brazil, because they lost to one of their local rivals, São Paulo FC 1-0, which dropped them 7 points back of Brasileiro leaders Atlético MG after only 5 games. So obviously, there's plenty of time for them to make up that deficit, but they're going to have to pass 13 teams to get there since they currently sit in 14th. Good weekend, everyone I'm about to mention. Like me, because I'm awesome, and Jeff Erkrush, who won the Romanian League, and the second division team in Russia, who I 100% cannot pronounce its name. It's really long, and I probably can't spell it either. So I'm just going to put it right below me at this very moment. It's probably going to take up the whole screen so you can see what I'm talking about, because they got promoted to the top division in Russia for the first time in their history, and that is a pretty big deal. And Legia Warsaw, who won their 3rd consecutive Polish league title, which sucks for me since I played for one of their rivals like Poznan, so this news doesn't make me that happy. And I think I'm just gonna recite a quote that I heard from my teammates when they said, Kurva Legia! And then there's Vilu, who got promoted back to the Danish Superliga for the first time since 2009, and the 2 winners of the Warm Ballers gear, who correctly predicted the 1-0 Chelsea win. And I know there were a few of you, but only 2 can be pulled from the hats, and they were Aleko Sandukadze. And I'm pretty sure I was nowhere close to pronouncing that right, and I apologize. And Jay Hernandez, who picked the right score and the right goal scorer, so extra stickers for you, my friend. Also, both of you guys need to email us at we@warmballers.com. That's right, we@warmballers.com, and we'll sort you out. And okay, that's it. I think I literally covered everything. So if you're still watching, I love you for that, and I will catch you very, very soon. Later.